There. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction, um, namely heroin addiction. I was an alcoholic and opiate addict for uh, for 12 years of my life. My entire 20s, my late teens until just up and recently. During that entire time, I had a clean period of maybe altogether, I'm talking here, altogether maybe 2 years, and I'm talking about, every day, every fucking day. In the beginning, it started with alcohol. There was a long time there I went, drinking a fifth of Seagram 7 a day. This is really bad. It fucked my guts up real bad, and my esophagus. It gave me chronic indigestion and heartburn for many years. And then it started mostly when I wrecked my truck when I was 17. I rolled my truck and almost killed myself, almost paralyzed myself. I didn't have a seatbelt on, and as I was rolling, I just kind of held on to the steering wheel as hard as I could, and it saved my life really, because the truck flipped on its nose end like that, and each time I rolled, I hit my head on the ceiling, and what happened was it gave me 2 compression fractures in my spinal cord, in my lumbar, and so from this accident, I was dealing with chronic pain my entire life. And then also, the addiction didn't start there. It started really when I was unable to fit into society. Ever since I was a little kid, people would call me meek or quiet, or shy, and this just simply wasn't the case. The things that I wanted to talk about were not socially acceptable. I wanted to question everything, my entire existence, and why does it have to be this way? To me, life and the world was just cruel, and I didn't really understand the reasons why. I just knew that it was cruel, and there was a lot of pain and suffering. So I would talk to myself mostly inside my head, and so people would think me to be shy or just a quiet individual, which just wasn't true. I just didn't want to talk about what they were talking about. So I had to be, social person to some degree. So I would self-medicate, and I noticed that when I would take downers, it would enable me to kind of lower my vibration to the people around me and, be normal somewhat, whatever, laughing and joking about stupid shit and stuff like that. So I was holding a lot of frustrations inside, a lot of pent up anger and frustration inside, which I then vented through my music. I started playing in bands as a heavy metal singer in 2005, and then I did that until 2012 when I fell down the rabbit hole when the black hole sun woke me up. But so during this entire period of being a singer, I vented my frustrations and my artistry through my music, through my lyrics and my stage performance, and this only exacerbated my pain and suffering. Well, actually, it was pretty equal. So on stage, I would thrash my neck and my back. I would, crowd surfing and moshing and just constantly headbanging. So it did not help my back injury whatsoever. And then also, when you scream in death metal or heavy metal, you kind of hunch over, like it's really constricting. So it did not help my back whatsoever. And so I started to self-medicate once again on tour in 2007. when a guitar player from another band, I had woken up one day in California on tour, and I could not lift my head up. When I lift my head up, my head would start violently shaking, and so I thought the tour was over. I thought I had to go to the hospital, and so a guitar player from another band said, "Here, take this." And I didn't know it at the time, but it was methadone. It was one of the most powerful opiates, if not the most powerful opiate. Very, very addicting, you know. And, well, it made me feel amazing. And you know what? I didn't get blacked out drunk and be an asshole. So you can see why I kind of made the switch. Took my pain away, and it made it so that I wasn't a terrible alcoholic. But this was like putting Band-Aid over cancer, of course. And I paid for it later on. So I then became addicted to pharmaceuticals, you know, and my finances and my relationships started to suffer, you know, more and more. And then these pharmaceuticals, the prices for them raised exponentially on the streets. It became more like $1 a milligram for Oxycontin. And I just couldn't afford it anymore. And at the same time, these pills became extremely far and, you know, rare to find. At the same time, heroin had flooded the streets and was extremely abundant and extremely cheap. So to me, it didn't really make a difference because these same pharmaceuticals are just opiates. To me, it's chemical grade or laboratory grade heroin anyway. So I didn't really think twice about it, and I made the switch, you know. And I remember the first day that me and my girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend, did it for the first time together, and we knew, I'd known in my heart, right, that everything would change from here on out, and this would be the end of us, and probably kill us, if not put us in jail or kill us. But we made the decision anyway because we were hopeless slaves to this, you know, the dopamine. So this then started a several-year battle with heroin abuse, and you know, my relationships began to really suffer then because the half-life of this drug is very short. It's about 6 hours, and as soon as you start withdrawing, you know, it goes through your chakra field. It starts in your head and it goes down, and the first symptoms are watery eyes, congestion, nose runny, sneezing violently, you know, coughing, and then it just moves, and the farther down it goes into your chakra field, the more painful it is, and it's just unbearable. This is why they call it kicking, is because once it gets into your legs or your root chakra, you get restless leg syndrome so bad that you literally flail and kick your legs in bed. And I mean, and the whole process is a nightmare. It takes weeks to be able to sleep, and it's just nothing but unrelenting pain. So this is why it's so addicting. But anyway, so then my artistry began to suffer. Everything suffered because then the priority became feeding this demon, you know, chasing the dragon, which will, you know, and if you don't have your dopamine in your body, you can't do anything. You might as well crawl in the fetal position and die. I mean, that's what lab rats do when the scientists take away their dopamine. This is your body's natural painkiller. So being alive hurts, period. Like everything hurts. Your muscles, you can't breathe right, you're having palpitations, you're vomiting. Like every known symptom to the human body, it seems, is going apeshit at the same time. Like this is an extreme fever is what it is. So you just cannot operate. So then, yeah, everything began to suffer. My music began to suffer. I began to throw up and get migraines and detox while playing shows with my band, and there was several times that I would just walk off stage and go to the bathroom and throw up and things of this nature, and you know, it basically just took over completely. And then of course it ended my 6-year relationship with my girlfriend at the time, and you know, it destroyed my entire life, and it eventually made me homeless. And you know, it was a terrible nightmare. It was definitely a dark night of the soul. But looking back now, I honestly would not trade it. I would not have done anything different because the wealth of knowledge that I had gained from this experience, it took me into some of the darkest realms of, human nature and society. The realms that I traversed were unimaginably dark and lonely, and I survived them, and I feel so much stronger, and I've come out of it with a wealth of an abundance of knowledge that I feel I can now help other people with and share my story with. And it taught me so much about the body. It taught me so much about human nature. It taught me so much about the system concerning rehabilitation towards addicts. It taught me homelessness, which I feel like everyone should endure at least once in their lives. It taught me so much, and I'm not gonna look at it like a negative experience. I'm gonna look at it like I went to school, I went to training, and I survived and came back with this knowledge, and now I can use this to help others that are suffering the same thing right now. So I feel like telling you guys a little background story about myself, and that's just a fraction of it. We all have our own stories. It's not a contest. I want you to feel me, because if you feel me, then I can feel you, and we can share our information and our healing, and hopefully heal each other, and share our energies. And I want you to know that my intentions are pure, and if I can help you in any way, I will. I'll message you like I already have been doing for people. I'll message you into the wee hours of the morning for nothing in return, because you're giving me what I need in return. So I just want to say, stay up, and I love you, and you'll get past this, alright? Thank you.